Okay, so today we're going to tie a woolly bugger. In this version, we're going to tie a beadhead woolly bugger. So, what I'm going to do first, as you see in this camera, slide the bead up on the hook, like that, right? And I'm going to take this and put it in my vise, like so. And there are many colors we're going to do that you can do a woolly bugger in, but this one I'm going to do in black. So, that's what we're doing today. And the next step is to take some lead wire here. I have some here. There we go. So we're going to take this here, wrap it around. Now this is a little smaller than I like it to be. I prefer mine a little bit thicker than this, but this will work. This is 015 currently is what I'm using, lead wire. But you can also, depending on what certain situations you're fishing, you can also adjust the weight. And I'm going to start with Danville 6/0 black thread. I'm going to wrap this in like this. I'm going to try to secure all this down here, this thread. I'm going to wrap that thread like that. And make sure the wire's secure and make sure it doesn't move. Okay. And I'm going to wrap this all the way down to the bend of the hook. I'm going to wrap this all the way down, right about where the barb is. Just imagine, I know the barb's not showing, but, and I did debarb this just so you know, to make the bead, just a tip, just to put the bead on easier. I just debarbed it because I really couldn't get the bead on too good. So that's why I did that. I forgot to mention that. But anyways, you take this here. You take a marabou piece and you kind of have to pick through it a little bit to get a good one, but because this is strung marabou and it's not really the best in the world, but it'll do the job. But anyways, you take this woolly bugger marabou, this type of marabou I have, and I like stripping the plume like this into fibers instead of using the actual plume itself. Because the problem is with using a plume like that, if you use even the tip of the plume, it's going to have that stem, and that stem's not going to allow it to move very easily, and I don't like it like that. So that's why we're doing it like this. And it doesn't have to be even. I kind of like it this way. It makes it a little more buggier. So that's what we're doing. And we're going to take this here and we're going to snip the thread there. Or no, not thread, the marabou. And we're going to take this here. And we're going to take some wire here. And this time I'm going to use silver wire. I'm going to use like a small size silver wire. Now you can also do bigger, but this is what I'm going to do simply because this is the smaller woolly bugger, so I'm not going to do too big. And I'm going to wrap that in, just make it sure it's secure. And what I do is I kind of size out. Now there's two ways you can size out hackle. You can do it my way, like I'm doing currently right now, is kind of sizing it to the hook before I pull it. And this is a half a cape, just so you know. So it's not a real full cape. Now that's about the right size, isn't it? Yeah, so that's exactly the size I want. So make sure you select hackle. But before we do that, we're also going to take this medium black chenille, and that's what I prefer to use on woolly buggers, is a medium size chenille. But you can also use different colors of chenille as well to make a different kind of woolly bugger color. And what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this on like this. We're going to take this and wrap it like that. I'm going to wrap it forward. Make sure it's getting all the way to the bead. And what we're going to do is we're going to secure it with a few nice wraps here of thread. And we're going to take this here and snip off the excess chenille. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this hackle that I picked off earlier. I'm going to take this and kind of stroke off all the fluffy fibers at the end. I don't like those fluffy fibers too much. And we're going to take this and wrap this like that, making sure it's fully secure on there before we wrap it so it don't slip. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our hackle pliers. Now you can use your fingers too to actually do this, but I like my hackle pliers because it makes it a little bit easier to do it with. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this here, wrap it like that, one full turn as good as I can. And I'm just going to keep wrapping this, kind of spiraling my wraps backwards on the hook. And I'm going to make sure it's wrapped there. And then the next step is we're going to take this wire here and kind of make it go through all this hackle here so it stays. Now you can also put thread through the hackle to make it stay too. That'll also work, but I feel like the wire gives it a more durable profile, if that makes sense. It's more durable and it doesn't have the hackle come undone very easily. So that's why I personally like this way better. And we're just going to helicopter the wire out. Then the next step is to take the excess hackle and trim it. And then the next step is to take, oop, I didn't get all that out, didn't I? There we go. We're going to take this here. I'm going to wrap it a few more times. And then we'll whip finish here. Just take my whip finish tool. And we're going to take this here. Wrap it a pretty good amount of times. I want to make it pretty durable here. And the next step is to take this here, snip the thread, and what we're going to do is we're going to use some UV resin. This is a Deer Creek UV resin. I kind of like it a lot. It's one of my favorite UV resins out there, and it's a really tack-free resin. Kind of like it. So we're just going to, it's a little bit left, not much, but I may have to get more. But anyways, we kind of just squirt a little bit like that on there. And we're going to take this here and we're going to take this and kind of make sure it gets in there pretty good. Make sure it's, you know, it doesn't have to be all the way, but at least you get some of it in there to get it secured. Because once we zap it with our light, it's done. So we're going to take our light and we're going to zap it like this. And then kind of rotate it a few times in the vise. And that's it. That's all we do. That's maybe just a little more there. That's it. Okay, so yeah, so that's all we do for the Beadhead woolly bugger. Now, every single Saturday I am going to upload a new video of a new fly. This is my first one, so also I'm going to list the materials in the description section below, as well as the tools I've used on this. And now you go catch some fish, people.